there's a little business announcement, and it is related to the Enterprise Without Borders events. That coffee was just an Enterprise Without Borders event. And on May 26th and 7th, there's going to be a company program and Enterprise Without Borders program teachers, business advisors, and Gen A staff. And again, is May 26th and May 27th. And what's important to announce is the registration deadline is April 20th. So anybody that's looking to go to that, please keep in mind that registration deadline's coming up on us. All right? That coffee break, as I told you, wasn't really just a coffee break. And I'm going to go back to the vision of Junior Achievement. And I am going to ask if anybody's familiar with those 6 vision statements. Because one is right at the heart of what you just did. The belief in the power of partnership and collaboration. And that's kind of that sponsoring. And with that, the tool that most of you, I met a few people that didn't get in, most of you got business cards for this event. And the purpose of the business cards was to exchange. So let me ask some questions. Who here has any of their business cards left? Okay, you're all out. You guys are all out.
I wrote this myself.
You wrote your own?
Yeah.
Anybody that worked that hard gets one. Thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay. Now, at your table, I want you to share with each other how many business cards from other teachers and volunteers you have at each table. And you got to tell me what, we're going to check what the numbers are. Okay? So share with each other quickly how many business cards from other people, not your own, from other people you collected. Okay, now we're going to go from table to table, and we're going to hear what the top numbers were. Okay? Okay. Claudio, be my record keeper, will you? How many business cards did the top business collector take here?
7. Oh, the top.
The top. Who did the best?
5. 5.
5. 5 at this table. How about this table? No. At this table. Who was top at this table? 2, 4. 4. 24s don't make 8 in this game. How about this table? 5. 5 at this table. How about this table? Is 3 the biggest? 3 at this table. How about this table? All right. If you handed out more than you got. Okay, how about this table? 2. Everybody's got 2. How about this table? 6. We have a 6 right here. Okay. How about this table? That's good. Not having any left. How many other people did you collect? 6. We have a 6 at this table too. Okay. How about this table?
Left on the table.
7. Table number 11. There's a 7.
Is there 10?
8. Oh, correction. 8. There's an 8. How about this table? What's the top number here? Who collected the most? Two. Two at this table. Okay. How about this table? You're good done. How about this table? You guys are workers. All right, what did we get? It's not like the 8. Who had the 8? Right? That's what you're like. Team number 11. Congratulations. How many of you are there? Oh, the 8 here too, right? Congratulations. It's a team. It's a team. Congratulations. Table number 11. All right. What? Oh, did you guys not get counted? How many? 6. Okay. All right. But 6 is very good. All right. Thank you all. I hope you're remembering to teach your students the power of networking. It's the beginning of the sales process. It's how they're going to make things happen. It is important, and it's certainly important in the information exchange and the knowledge exchange you have to make happen here, as well as any other venue like this. And now I know with one incredibly happy table, we have about 15 tables that are feeling pretty low. But don't worry, because we have somebody who's going to help. Lorenzo Paoli is a coach specializing in mental, emotional, and performance habit and director of corporate programs at Noviaxa? Axia? Okay. So, Lorenzo?
Buongiorno. First, I have to ask you one thing. I'm Italian, so please be patient with me. I'll move a lot, I'm loud, I move my hands, so sometimes I'll do like this. Please be patient, okay? When you're getting annoyed, think, okay, he's Italian. And we go on. Today I will focus on something that is, I think, really important to share, and I think a conference like this is really great because teaching entrepreneurial skills is not just for entrepreneurs. I think it's for everybody today in this world, which is so complex and so difficult and so sometimes fast. Having an entrepreneurial mind is important also for those who don't want to become entrepreneurs. And I really like the fact that I'm talking to teachers. I'm very scared about it also, terrified, but I really like it because getting to teach an entrepreneurial mind and entrepreneurial skills to young students, I think it's essential today. And I'll focus on a part of entrepreneurship, not marketing, logistics, organization, etc. I'll focus on emotional intelligence. And I'll do with you a little test just to understand how important it is. Imagine that you received a post in Hawaii for a year to teach there. And you have to find a replacement for you, for your job. You have to find a replacement for 1 year, then you come back. You have to write an ad looking for this person. And you have to put the characteristics of this person. How would she be? Of course, you all thought, well, for the perfect candidate, she would be like me. Of course, the perfect. Since it's not you, you have to settle down for something less. But what would you write about the characteristics of this person? How should she be? Open-minded. What else?
Loving chaos.
Loving chaos. Okay. That's great. You just reduced the number of candidates. Then? What else? Flexible. Can I understand that? Huh? Creative. Okay, with students that helps a lot.
Diligent.
Diligent. Yes.
Brave.
Brave. Okay. I agree with that. Everybody agrees with that. What else? Huh? Competitive. Okay. Competitive. What else would you write? Huh? Friendly.
Flexible.
Flexible. Okay. Do it twice because teachers have to. Okay. Understand? Anybody else? Flexible again? Yeah?
Putting ideas into practice.
Putting ideas into practice. Okay, and many, many more things. If you notice, what you just mentioned are all features of emotional intelligence. You didn't mention technical skills, which of course you took it for granted. They have to know how to teach it, and they know how they have to know history or geography or IT, etc. But apart from that, performance and performance in relationships depends on our emotional intelligence, how we deal with complexity, with our thinking style, etc., etc. So training a growth mindset is quite important today. And in a very interesting research from Carol Dweck, a psychologist in the US, they were studying students, little students, and they didn't understand why some of the little students, the pupils they had at school, really loved to challenge themselves, and when there was a difficult question, they wanted to learn and they wanted to try again and again and again, while others quit immediately. They didn't understand why, what happened to them. And they saw that there were research after research, they saw that there was a pattern between two different kinds of people. Of course, we cannot divide people into two kinds of people, but more or less there was a pattern. The pattern was this. Some students had a growth mindset, and some students had what they called a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset is based on a belief. The belief that the intelligence I have, the talents I have, the abilities I have are fixed, genetically fixed. So, what I have is what I am, I cannot learn. Imagine a person with this kind of belief. Would she want to challenge herself? No. Why? Because I am putting at risk my being smart or my being intelligent. These kind of people look for approval. They don't want new challenges. Actually, they avoid the challenges. In a research from brain scans, they saw that people with a fixed mindset shut down the brain when they received feedback. The brain didn't work. The brain started working when they gave them compliments. So they got approval. A growth mindset people instead love challenge. So they welcome your criticism and your feedback, and they focus on learning and not only on the results. And this was then seen also not only in students but also in managers, for example, or in salespeople. A salesperson that sells you by lying to you is a person that thinks, okay, I cannot learn anything from this, I just want the quick win. What they saw also in this research is that it's really easy for teachers to foster a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Of course, this is a reduction of the whole researches, but Telling kids, you're so smart, you're so good, you're so talented, showed that there was a reduction in the willingness of children to learn and take challenges. Because at that point, their being smart was themselves. So if you give me a challenge and then I fail, I'm not smart anymore. So they saw, the psychologists and teachers saw that instead they had to focus on the process. They had to say, you've done such a great job today, congratulations. You did well, I saw you worked hard. They put emphasis on the effort. And when they failed, they said, okay, you failed. Doesn't matter much, okay. What can you learn from this? And what can you do tomorrow to do better? They didn't put an end to the experience. They just said, well, today you failed. Today it was too difficult. You couldn't do it. What can you learn from tomorrow? This helped them create a growth mindset. Growth is risky. And risk is one of the things that is usually combined with entrepreneurship. When we think about entrepreneurs, we think about risk as well. And there is a misconception about entrepreneurs, that entrepreneurs love risk. Not true. Not true. I've been involved in opening 4 companies, and there were risks in all 4 companies, and I don't love risk at all. Actually, entrepreneurs accept risk as a part of life and work very hard to lower the risk. Even people that jump out of a plane with a parachute don't love risk, because they pack very well their parachutes, right? They love the adrenaline from the jump, but they will work very hard to lower their risk. So, another thing that it's important to teach and to train is the ability to fail. Because a thing that I don't like about most of entrepreneurship books is that they tell you successful stories and they tell you how to succeed. But the problem is that failing is much more difficult. From an emotional point of view, especially, a psychological point of view, because we take it personally often. So, our mind, you've seen this before, our mind is trained to imagine goals in this way. Yes, it will be a little bit difficult, but I'll manage. It's straight ahead, just a little bit, okay, uphill, that's it. Instead, reality is much different, and our mind cannot imagine reality unless we have already experienced it. If you run a marathon, you know how difficult it is. If you haven't, you cannot imagine how difficult it is. Okay? When you open a company, you cannot imagine how difficult it is and how complex it is. In a startup, usually there are stories about parties and how exciting it is, etc. Well, it's exciting. A startup usually is exciting for 4 days in a row, the whole year. The other 361 suck. Expenses are getting higher, revenues are getting lower, the sales manager quit, the client doesn't pay, etc., etc. So it's important to learn, to train our mind to fail in a way and to set goals. You probably know the SMART way of setting goals. Okay, goals have to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. This is important because often we are not very specific in our goal setting. But what is more important is the fact that these SMART goals will not work. At least they will not work as we would like. So we need to train resilience, which is the ability to get up again after I fail. Resilience is trained by asking questions all the time when I meet a brick wall. What are the alternatives? What is the single thing that I haven't done yet that could make a difference? Who can help me? If I had already reached the goal, what would I suggest myself, etc., etc. These kind of questions help me train my mind not to stop when I fail, when I go against the wall, and when I get against the wall again and again and again. Finding alternatives is one of the most difficult things, but one of the most essential today when students at university start in the first year having an idea of the job they will have in 5 years, and finish university when that job probably doesn't exist anymore, or there is another one completely different, or there is a new industry and you cannot even pronounce the jobs they have in that industry. Exploring alternatives is important, and the training, when I deal with the entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, I see that there is a problem between clarity of mind and the messiness of the job of being an entrepreneur. Someone said before, my candidate would have to love chaos. I can't agree more, actually. Entrepreneurship is chaotic. Startups are chaotic. Everything happens at the same time. We would think that something happens serially. First I get the idea, then my business plan, then I get money, then I open. Instead, everything is all at the same time. So, we have to train entrepreneurs to do 3 things at the same time. First, the dreamer is there, okay, that talks about vision, that talks about what I want, the world I want to build. But then there is the critic. And who doesn't know the critic in ourselves? The little voice that tells us, you cannot do it. It's too difficult. Stop it. Let someone else take care of it. Okay, do you know this voice? Have you heard of it? No, never. Okay, fine. Entrepreneurs have to train dreamers. The critic inside themselves has to lower its voice, even though it's still important, because it can give entrepreneurs warning signals. I've seen many entrepreneurs that go against the wall, even though there were signals that told them that was not the right direction. And being a realist is the most difficult thing, because we all have filters when we see reality. Today we are 100 here, probably more. We will go home and talk about this event, and we'll talk about it in 100 different ways, because we have filters. We notice things differently, and we interpret things differently. Avoiding thinking traps is the consequence of this. We overgeneralize sometimes. We read minds of people. You're angry with me. You didn't say hi this morning. Never done it? I'm sure you've never done it. Okay. Today I would like to focus on one of these thinking traps that I've seen in many entrepreneurs. Belief. One of the reasons why 50% of all startups fail is that we believe, entrepreneurs believe in their ideas. And you say, what do you mean? They should believe in their ideas. The problem is that if we believe in something, think about it, if we believe in something, it means that we don't know it. Because if we knew it, we wouldn't need to believe in it. I'm 178. My wife says it's not true, I'm 176, but I'm sure it's 178. And I don't believe I'm 178, I know. I'm that tall. If you believe in your idea, it means that you don't have the answers. You're just believing, you're hoping it's true. Beliefs are our reality. We all have beliefs about how to dress, how to raise kids, how to teach entrepreneurship, how to treat students, how to go to work, etc., etc. We all have beliefs, and we treat beliefs as our own reality, even though they are not reality. They are just our alternative of reality. This is funny. These are some products that were sold in the 50s. Ladies and gentlemen, you have radioactive toothpaste for whitening your teeth. Then I would like to present the radioactive cosmetic products, especially lipsticks, to make your lips shiny. And the best is radioactive chocolate that makes you younger. That's what the ad said. Now, we laugh about it, but 60 years ago, this was normal. Why? Because they believed. There was a belief. Today, we know this is not a very good product. So, testing your belief in as an entrepreneur is essential, and often entrepreneurs fail to do it. The usual way of starting a company is this. You have an idea, you write a business plan, you launch, and then you get results. And then, when you're already spending money, something goes wrong. And you have to take away all emergencies and problems. It's like failing to maintain your airplane, and then when the engine breaks down, you try to repair it on flight. Today, there is what is called Lean Startup program. And it's a new way of doing business, because many venture capitalists, entrepreneurs, especially in the US, saw that business plans that didn't work very well. So what they did was train people to sell before they launched a product, sell before opening a company. In this way, you have all the information you need from the customers. They didn't like this feature. They liked this feature very much. They told me to raise the price or lower the price, etc. You don't have to believe in your product. You know your product is going to work or not. You have to teach them to, entrepreneurs have to learn to ask questions. Entrepreneurs usually ask, do you like it? Do you like my product? And would you buy it? The conditional is very easy to answer, because you don't have to fork out 400 euros for a product. It's conditional. Yes, I would. If you sell before launching, you ask questions about the past. Have you used this product? Have you had problems? What kind of problems you have? In this way, people, entrepreneurs, learn to deal with reality and not their beliefs. Because an entrepreneur is in love with his product, so she will never criticize it. Let our customers do the job for us. Motivation, well, why do people become entrepreneurs? Some because they want to get rich, intrinsic motivation. Some because they want to be free, extrinsic motivation. Some because they hate their boss. Some others because they want to change the world. Helping people decide why they want to become entrepreneurs is important to make them then take the challenge. When we challenge people and we challenge our students to become entrepreneurs, we should find the way to motivate them so that they can make mistakes, even though they don't panic, they don't go into an anxiety loop. And then there is the part of ambition. Entrepreneurs are usually ambitious. That's at least what you think about them. Ambitious is important strategically also, from a mindset point of view. It's not a pep talk, it's not a motivational talk. It's strategic, because when you are ambitious, you have a vision that goes over all your goals. And it is important because there is what we call, what pilots call crabbing. Crabbing is a technique in pilots that helps them go against the winds that try to push away the plane from the landing. What they do sometimes is that they have to push a lot more than they should do, and in a different direction, to land properly, because the wind is pushing them away. Entrepreneurs have to learn to do crabbing as well in real life, because there are so many winds that go against ourselves every single day in our life. So we have, being ambitious is strategic, because it means that sometimes we have to train our mind to say, okay, now I have to push really, really hard. These are some questions that are used to train people to be ambitious, meaning to be strategically prepared for complexity, for problems, for the winds in our life. I will not read them all. The first one is the most important. How can you progress by 1% today? Challenging people to fail and making mistakes is the best way to training them to fail in the real life, because they're used to it. Failure is not a big deal. They learn that failure is not a big deal. It's not about me, about my personality, about myself. It's about having a wrong strategy in the right time. Last one, focus. I've heard many entrepreneurs say there is a market for pens. In Europe, 300 million people use pens. They use 10 pens per day. It's 3 billion pens per year. How hard could it be to get 1% of the market? I will be a millionaire by the end of the year. How hard could it be? I've heard it over and over again. Actually, in fact, I've done it myself. The fact is that it's really hard to get that 1%. Actually, it's really hard to get the 0.0001% of a market. So, focusing on a niche on which we're passionate about is really important at the beginning, so that we can start growing and knowing our market, and knowing that we can grow later on, and starting to build a fan base of people that can teach us what we're doing wrong. And this is my final message for you. I think I'm also a teacher, by the way. And I believe that teaching is the most important job in the world. Sometimes we have to be flexible. I don't know if you've heard it. Very flexible. And what we do today with the leadership and entrepreneurship is teaching our students to leave their mark in the future as people. And for me, leadership is leaving mark every single day, for every single gesture, for every single relationship, every single moment, especially in the difficult ones. So teaching our students to focus and perform in difficult moments helps them become the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Latvia, this is some sweet candies, also Latvian made. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
you. Okay. One more event, but a little test before we get to it. to ask, how about if I ask another history question? And the history question, no, I'm sorry, I'll ask another general question. There's three things Junior Achievement hopes at its core, in its content, to deliver. Work readiness, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship, right? Let's see. How about this? Can anybody name the year, the first 50 years of Junior Achievement, they had after school, what they called the corporate program. And students created a company for a product and actually issued stock and sold things locally. In what year did they bring Junior Achievement from an after school to an in-school exercise? Does anybody know? There's 6 coffee tickets left. How many years has Junior Achievement been doing this? How come teachers? Teachers weren't part of Junior Achievement how many years ago? Do you know? It was all corporate sponsored back when I was growing up, actually. It was all corporate sponsored.
This is 1970?
Close. In the 70s. Come on.
74.
Close. 76. 1976. Junior Achievement was brought inside the school. And you all know which program it was that they brought inside the school? Come on. What's the name of it? That's right. It's that easy. Who said that?
Did you iterate?
Come on, fire. I've got 2 cups of coffee. All right. Okay. Now, you guys are going to get a treat, but I want to share with you one more vision statement. The 4th of 6 vision statements for Junior Achievement are respect for talents, creativity, perspectives, and backgrounds of all individuals. The 3rd is passion for what we do with honesty, integrity, and excellence in how we do it. And with that, I'm going to introduce my colleague from Riga Business School and the director of the bachelor program, who takes all these brilliant young minds and develops them just a little bit further towards a baccalaureate degree, Claudio Rivera.
Hello everybody. Are you still with me? So we are 5:30. So if we work very well, I promise the 4 tickets for coffee that he has is still there, and that we can leave on time at 7. Okay? So we have this last session, this last speech. I hope, Cynthia, are we going to have the slides? The next one?
Advance it, yeah, advance it. Cool, there you go.
This is me. Okay. So, I have a good news and a bad news, but I will start with a shock. You know, on Saturday, I delivered my first conference in Minsk. I never have been in Minsk. Anyone here from Belarus? Nobody? Okay, and one of the organizers, so I have 300 roughly managers there in front of me, and then I asked, what should I do? And then, in my first time here, I start with a joke. Okay, I will start with a joke. And it worked out. So I will start with a joke, okay? So my joke is the following. One day, one person was in the hospital. He went there because he needed to cut one of his legs. So the surgery happened, and the next day, the doctor comes to the room, and he said, okay, I have a good news and a bad news for you. With which you want to start? Oh, I start with with the bad news. But the bad news is that I cut the wrong leg. And which is the good news, that the other is getting better. So the good news is that this is the last of this seminar. The bad news that the one that is going to work is you, not me. Okay, this is a workshop. The tale of this workshop is very much like this movie. Have you seen this movie?
Yes.
Yeah. How many of you watched it 50 times? Yeah? Because this is a good one. Okay. First learning point from today's workshop is you have to watch this if you haven't seen that. Okay. The good one is Junior Achievement. So Latvia, Yanis and his team keep me inviting me to deliver seminar and workshop, and I am very happy about that. I really like it. So, and the bad one is Riga Business School, and that supports Yanis to do this. Okay. And the ugly one is myself. Okay. Well, this workshop is about selling. Of course, selling is go to business. Is go to market. And it is a big process. It includes a lot of steps, a lot of techniques, and I am not today in 1 hour and a half. We cannot go through all that. So then we are going to focus only on one very small step, though extremely relevant. That is called the elevator pitch. There is a technique that we use continuously in selling, that we use continuously in speaking, that we use continuously when we are looking for investments. It's called elevator pitch. That basically is called like that because is what you use in order to convince another person that he needs to pay you attention. And you have to do it in such a short time that is the right of an elevator. This is why it's called elevator lift. So I will start with my own elevator pitch. Okay? So, maybe I am not so early. Okay? So, how I introduce myself. I am an offspring, so this is how I put my bio, so I don't start saying, oh, I study here and there and there. So I am an offspring of globalization. So it means my grandparents come from Italy and Spain to Argentina. I am born in Argentina, lived half of my life there, and somehow I found my way to live in Latvia now for 10 years already. So it means I am Italian, Argentinian, and permanent resident of Latvia. So that is... The second one, I am the first generation of the market economy in my country. I mean, my country is Argentina. Also here, in certain way. So what means a lot, to be the first generation of market economy means a huge transformation. It implies a completely different mindset. The previous generation, my parents, my grandparents, they were giving all the decisions. They were accountable for little. So the government was taking the decision about their careers, was taking the decision about their businesses, was telling what they had to produce, how much has to earn. Suddenly, we are in the free market, where we are responsible and accountable for everything. So it's a huge change in the mindset. I am a comeback fellow, so it means I have the great fortune that I started during my first years of my career. I went through the tequila crisis, the caipirinha crisis, the vodka crisis, the tango crisis, the dot-com crisis, and the 2008 crisis. Okay, so my career wasn't boring. So, but crisis help a lot. Well educated? I don't think so, but many degrees anyway. Working and empowering leaders. We have heard a lot of criticism of education. I think they are very much overstated. Education is very good. So, but we define our programs as programs where we create leaders. Very much on what the previous speaker was talking about, emotional intelligence. So bringing people that they become smarter and with the heart stronger. And serial entrepreneur, that is not the same as entrepreneur, right? So it's when you are someone that creates businesses, inside another businesses. That is much fun, much more fun. You know why? Because I am not the guy that loses the money if something goes wrong, right? Okay, that's my elevator pitch. Why we are here in this session? The question here is, if I have to present the most crazy idea, how could I start? If you have the chance of meeting for a few minutes a wealthy potential, how would you approach it? And why we are here is because our students, your students, face this situation once and again and again. So they have a product, they start a business, they have this small business program at Junior Achievement or whatever, and they need to pitch people that get convinced about them and start to buy. That is a very determinant moment. This is a very special moment. This is the moment where really the business starts to move. So it's very, very important that they understand how to do that. And as the elevator pitch is very, very short. So elevator pitch is an extremely relevant moment. But if the elevator is not safe, everything wrong could happen there, right? So it's something extremely important. It's very short, but we have to give it a lot of relevance. Today's agenda. You will make a simulation, we will start, okay, where you will create an elevator pitch. And you will brainstorm about the method for teaching this. You see, you and you have nothing to do, okay? So there is only one rule, it's the only thing I am going to do, that I will basically more moderate. So you're going to speak a lot, and as teacher you like to speak a lot, and no problem, but when I said silence, just stop, okay? Because otherwise we cannot follow. Okay, task number one. This is the first task that we have today. You will create an elevator pitch, and some of you, because we don't have much time, are going to present, okay? What about, you will create an elevator pitch about this poster. Have you seen this poster? Yeah? Do you know this story? The story of this poster, this was created, anyone here from the UK? No? Nobody from the UK? Okay, you can tell us more than I can do at the story. No? Okay. So this poster, that now is a global phenomenon, okay? This poster, Keep Calm and Carry On, was created by the UK when the Germans were going to make the invasion there in the UK in the Second World War. So they were expecting the Germans to invade the UK, and the UK government and the Ministry of Information specifically was tasked with the following objective. They had to produce posters that boost the morale of the population. So they created many slogans. One of them, that was the last one, was this one, Keep Calm and Carry On, and they produced 2,500,000 postal advertisements. Finally, the Germans didn't invade, as we know, and the poster stayed in the warehouse. Nobody used them. Till early 2000, I don't remember exactly which year, two owners, the owners of a second-hand bookstore, discovered the poster somewhere there. And The Guardian, the newspaper, published the news about that. After that, it was a global phenomenon. This guy became very wealthy about that. So up to date, they sold 100,000 posters like this one. And millions of merchandise, different types of merchandising. Even this poster has been in the wedding of the prince. So it is a global phenomenon. It has been used in different ways. So what you have to create is an elevator pitch in each table. Imagine you discover the poster, and you have to pitch an investor that is ready to make a campaign and produce the poster in order to sell it. Imagine you are in 2000, you discover the poster and you have to sell it. And first you need the money from the investors. Any elevator pitch could not be longer than 2 minutes. Imagine 2 minutes in an elevator. It's too long, okay? So this is the longest time you can speak. This is the longest time your student can speak in order to catch the idea of the potential customer, okay? Which are the questions that you should cover in an elevator pitch? All those in 2 minutes. At least the most of that. So it means I can after give you this slide, so Yanis can send or someone, okay? Just for you to don't. I will put it here meanwhile you work. But basically what you have to do is describe the opportunity you wish to pursue or the problem you solve. That should be clear from the beginning. Sometimes I see elevator pitch of people giving you a slogan and you don't, okay, that's nice, that's a lot of poetry, but what do you tell me really? What do you solve with that? So the solution to that problem, which groups or ideas your idea is addressed, how are potential customers likely to benefit, which investment are required, and which are the main risks, and how could they be managed. All that in 2 minutes. All that in 2 minutes, okay? So this is why elevator pitch, as important as it is extremely difficult to produce, okay? A great example, of course, of elevator pitch is Steve Jobs. Just go to the Apple presentations of Steve Jobs when he presented new products, especially the iPad. The first time he presented the iPad, in 1 minute 26 seconds, he sold the iPad. So just go to YouTube and put iPad presentation. The first minute 26 seconds is just a masterpiece of an elevator pitch. And I will explain. So, now you have in every table, and don't panic, you have flip chart pages there, you have 15 minutes to produce an elevator pitch on the idea of the poster. Okay? Go on.
Take that here. Don't just
Sneak out.
Wow! I'm not really sure what it is.
I think he wants us to use speech or presentation.
I know what elevator pitch is, but
Selling this be calm.
I mean, it's the idea, keep calm and carry on. It's the idea what it is.
No, the poster. 2 million posters that were left.